People are moving to Wilmington, North Carolina in search of the dream of living the coastal life. Lower home prices, lower cost of living, next to the ocean, and warmer weather. And here's the thing that when you actually dig into the 2025 data for the greater Wilmington area, a pretty clear story shows up. It's not the crash story that some people were hoping for, and it's not the runaway appreciation story that sellers have gotten used to over the past few years. So in this video, I'm going to break down three things for you. Number one, what 2025 actually did to the Wilmington market. Number two, my 2026 prediction and why I think we're heading into, or I actually think we're already in, a split market. And number three, what buyers and sellers specifically need to be doing right now. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Kimberly Crouch with eXp Realty. I help buyers and sellers across the greater Wilmington area, and I specialize in helping people make smart coastal decisions by translating the market numbers into what they actually mean for your specific location, zip code, neighborhood, and price point, your lifestyle goals, and your real cost of ownership. All right, let's start with what actually happened last year in the Wilmington market, because 2025 was not a crash and it was not a clean rebound either. It was a market that loosened up, gave buyers more choices, and brought real negotiation back to the table. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about and what I mean by that. One, inventory rose. The biggest shift in 2025 was that buyers finally had more options. According to Cape Fear Realtors Multiple Listing Service, or MLS, active listings in the Wilmington MSA, inventory ended December 2025 at 4,120 homes, up 17% year over year. And months of supply came in at 4.1 months, also up from a year ago, which ended with 3.75 months for 2024. Months of inventory is the inverse of the absorption rate, and it's one of my favorite key market indicators. It tells us what type of market we're in. Under 4 months is usually a seller's market. 4 to 6 months is considered stable, but always moving one way or the other towards sellers or buyers. And over 6 months is typically a buyer's market. So we're right on the edge of a seller's market in a stable market. So what does this really mean for you? More choices? Absolutely. A wide open buyer favored market? No. That is why some listings in 2025 still moved quickly, sometimes with multiple offers, while others sat on the market for months. Second, demand did not disappear. It just got a lot more selective. Some listings moved so fast, others just sat there, and people could not figure out why. Pending sales in December 2025 totaled 694. That's up 4% year over year. Closed sales came in at 1,010, which is up 7.7% year over year. Buyers absolutely were still buying. They just were not buying everything. They were choosing the clean, well-positioned, well-priced homes and negotiating harder on everything else. 3, pricing held, but sellers lost some automatic leverage. Cape Fear Realtors reported the median sales price in December 2025 at $412,000, down just 1.9% year over year, and the median sale to original list ratio at 94.4%, down from 95.3% last December. So values did not fall apart, but sellers could no longer just set a price and wait and it would sell. The days of buyers waiving everything and competing at 10% over ask, that energy was gone in most price points and situations. Pricing discipline came back. In 2025, the winners were priced correctly and did not ask buyers to overlook obvious issues. 4, homes took longer to sell, and that's a big behavioral shift. This is one of the clearest signals that 2025 reset expectations. Average cumulative days on market in December 2025 hit 83 days. That's up from 69 days last year, a 20.3% year-over-year increase. That is a meaningful shift. When buyers have more time to think, compare, and walk away if something does not feel right, it changes how you have to price and prepare a listing. The days of little to no listing prep, no repairs, and marketing, along with aggressive pricing absorbing itself in the market, that stopped working. 5, the market became very lane specific or micro market oriented, especially near the coast. This is where people get surprised. The greater Wilmington area is not one market. It is multiple lanes behaving very differently based on location, lifestyle, and property type. For the overall Wilmington market, the MLS showed a median sale price of $412,000 and that 94.4% sale to list price ratio I mentioned. But look at a zip code like 28409. It's a coastal adjacent lane closer to Wrightsville Beach. There, the MLS shows a median price of $548,000, a 95.9% 88% sale to original list ratio, and homes going pending in about 75 days. That's a completely different market. And then up the price ladder a bit, Wrightsville Beach itself shows a median home value of $2.1 million, up 36.8% year over year. That's operating in its own world entirely. So even in a more negotiable year, the right pockets and the right homes still moved faster. That is why 2026 is going to feel split depending on location, zip code, condition, pricing, and true cost of ownership. Let's move on to part 2, my 2026 predictions for the Wilmington market. Here's why 2026 is going to surprise people. We are headed into the year with more inventory than last year, mortgage rates that are lower than last year, and a market that is closer to balanced than it has been in several years. It's still not going to feel like an easy buyer market across the board. Here's why. I am going to frame this around 3 questions because I think these are the levers that drive everything. So first lever, question 1, does buyer demand actually come back in 2026? Demand in 2026 comes down to one thing: rates and monthly payment psychology. Freddie Mac showed the 30-year fixed rate of 6.11% as of March 12, 2026, up from 6% last week and down from 6.65% a year earlier. That's a real difference on a monthly payment, half a point, even though these are not historically low rates. In Wilmington specifically, the MLS still shows homes going pending in about 72 days as of February 2026, which tells you buyers are active, but they are not rushing into everything. So what do I think happens? If rates stay in the low 6s, demand stays present and selective. But here's a more interesting scenario. If we get a stretch where the low 6s become the psychological new normal and buyers who have been sitting on the sidelines finally decide to move, the best homes in the best lanes will feel competitive again. And sometimes they actually are now. And that can happen really quickly. Demand can wake up fast when the right rate window appears. Question/lever 2, does inventory rise enough to create a true buyer's market? We ended 2025 with 4,120 active listings and 4.1 months of supply. That's closer to balanced, not oversupplied. What I expect in 2026 is that buyers will have more options than they've had in a while, but the market stays uneven. The well-maintained homes with no big surprises in the right locations will stay tight. The inventory that sits will be the homes with compromises, condition issues, tough lots, busy roads, floor plans that don't work for today's world, or pricing that just does not match the lane and current market. Question 3, or lever 3, what happens to prices in 2026? This is where people get tripped up. Wilmington can look stable overall, while specific pockets behave very differently. Wilmington Metro overall, Cape Fear MLS shows a median sale price of $412,000 as of December 31st, 2025, and a median sale to list ratio of 94.4%. That's not a crash signal, but it is a negotiation signal. In 28409, that's zip code, the MLS shows homes going pending in about 75 days and the median sale to list ratio of 95.9%, with the median price being $548,000. And on the high-end coastal lane, the MLS shows Wrightsville Beach median home value of $2.1 million, up 36.8% year over year. That's a lot. That lane does not behave like inland Wilmington. So here's an example when I say I had experience with this firsthand. I had a beautiful listing last summer, a home that priced out at about $1.3 million based on comparable sales, condition, a superior lot, and a location in an intercoastal waterway front, water access community with a boat slip marina. And it sat until we finally reduced to the proper price for the current market, and it finally sold. This is a prime example of a micro market behaving differently and having a different experience than expected. So I am not calling for a dramatic crash. I am also not calling for a rocket ship year. I am calling for uneven results. And that is actually the part that surprises people the most, because two neighbors can have totally different experiences in the exact same month. That's the 2026 Wilmington story. And that is exactly why buyers and sellers need a different playbook in 2026, because if you follow the wrong headline, you will make the wrong move. And whether you win or lose in this market will depend on your understanding of that and who you hire to help you with buying and selling. Part 3, what buyers and sellers need to do right now. If 2026 is a split market where some homes still fly and others sit, then the goal is not to time the market. The goal is to play your specific pocket correctly, because Greater Wilmington is not moving as one big uniform market. Inventory is up, negotiation is back, and the lanes are widening between turnkey and compromised homes. So let me break this down for buyers first. So what buyers need to know: stop shopping Greater Wilmington like it's one market. Shop your location, your neighborhood, your zip code, and your lane. Here is why this matters. Wilmington can show negotiation signals overall, while certain pockets still move faster and sell cleaner. We've talked about that. Wilmington Metro overall, Cape Fear MLS shows a median sale price of $412,000 as of December 31st, 2025, and a median sale to list ratio of 94.4%. That is leverage returning, but not everywhere equally. That's the average. 28409, again, the MLS shows a median sale price of $548,000, a median sale to list ratio of 95.9%, and homes going pending in about 75 days. That's a different lane. Wrightsville Beach, also a different lane. On the high-end coastal lane, the MLS shows Wrightsville Beach median home value around $2.1 million, up 36.8% year over year, and a median list price around $1.7 million as of February 2026. So that coastal lane does not behave like inland with Wilmington. If you don't anchor your plan to the exact area and home type you want, you're basically guessing and making decisions based on the wrong information, the wrong facts, the wrong data set. Second, expect speed on the best homes, even if headlines feel slower. More inventory does not mean the right home is going to sit around waiting for you. The Wilmington MSA ended December 2025 with 4,120 active listings, up 17% year over year, and months of supply around 4.1. That's closer to balance, but it's not oversupplied. The MLS shows Wilmington homes going pending in about 72 days as of February 2026. So when a turnkey hits the market in a desirable lane, buyers who are prepared to move still show up. The difference is that you don't have to panic or buy the wrong home. You have more time and more options, but that doesn't apply to every home equally. Third, do not build your entire strategy around waiting for rates to save you. Rates are lower than a year ago, and that's meaningful on a monthly payment. That half a point can make a difference. Freddie Mac shows the 30-year fixed average 6.11% as of March 12, 2026 versus 6.65% a year earlier. But if you're waiting for 3% to come back, you could be waiting a really long time. I'm not sure we'll see that again in our lifetimes. And the market shifts that come with lower rates, more buyer demands, more competition on the best homes might eliminate the advantage you were trying to capture anyway. And fourth, this is where Wilmington buyers get blindsided. Your payment is not the full cost. In coastal lanes, you want to understand your full monthly and annual carrying cost before you commit, not after you fall in love with the listing photos and pay your due diligence fee. If you're shopping near the coast or the Intracoastal Waterway, verify your true cost of ownership before you fall in love with this home with the photos and pay your due diligence fee with an offer. Your mortgage payment is not the full story. In coastal lanes, insurance, flood zone status, HOA fees, and ongoing coastal maintenance costs can completely change the financial picture. I've had buyers come to me with a budget in mind and realize after we run real numbers, the home that they could afford comfortably has a monthly carrying cost that does not fit their life. A simple way to think about it, coastal lanes like Wrightsville Beach are priced in a completely different category. And those buyers need to be extremely cost aware because insurance, maintenance, and storm risk can change the deal fast. Now for sellers, first, you are not competing with buyers. You are competing with the other listings. And that's really important to understand. Inventory is higher than it was, which means buyers have more alternatives and they will use them. Active listings, 4,120 in December 2025, up 17% year over year. That means buyers have more alternatives than they did in 2022 or 2023. If you are not clearly positioned as the best option in your lane on price, condition, and presentation, you will feel it in fewer showings, harder negotiations, and longer days on market. Second, price and condition matter more than ever in a split market. This is the year where turnkey homes still create urgency, but compromised or overpriced homes get ignored. Cape Fear Realtors reported the median sales price at $412,000 in December 2025, down 1.9% year over year, alongside inventory increasing and days on market rising. That is the environment where pricing discipline really matters. If your home is turnkey and priced right, you can still sell clean. If it is dated or has a compromise, the plan should include credits, repairs, or sharper pricing because buyers can compare. And third, watch the rate window because it changes demand fast. A dip in rates can change how many buyers show up, especially in the move-up price points. Freddie Mac shows rates down year over year, which is the kind of change that can pull buyers off the sidelines. If you're selling in 2026, timing and positioning matter. You want to be ready before before demand wakes up, not after. If you are planning to sell in 2026, you want to be ready before demand picks up, not scrambling to get your home on the market after the window opens. Timing and positioning matter a lot in a market like this, and sometimes it takes weeks to get contractors in and make the necessary repairs if that's what's true for your situation. So if you're watching this and the market feels really confusing right now, you're not alone and you're not wrong to feel that way. The numbers look mixed because Greater Wilmington is genuinely multiple markets happening at the same time, and it can feel confusing. The headlines are not lying to you. They're just averaging together a lot of different stories into one number that may or may not apply to your specific location, zip code, your price range, or your situation. And that's why it feels confusing. So if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for prices to drop or rates to drop, or for the world to have more certainty than it does today, it may not happen this year. So many people are waiting for a situation or a time when it feels more fair or certain. You may be looking at other areas that are shifting and the growth that we've experienced over the past 5 years here in the Wilmington area and thinking that our Wilmington market has got to drop. But is that really going to happen? I just don't think that it will. People who aren't paying attention right now are heading into a storm. Migration to Wilmington from other areas will likely continue. That demand will continue to grow while the developable land continues to shrink. Wilmington itself is mostly built out. There's not a lot of land left here. If interest rates do fall as previously expected prior to the conflict, housing prices will go up as many buyers who are waiting flood the market. We can count on that. So right now, I'm predicting our market will continue with relatively stable pricing hovering between $412,000 and $425,000 median pricing for the metro area. That pricing is about 80% higher than it was pre-COVID. So for a lot of people who keep waiting for prices to come down because this market feels unaffordable, that day might not ever come. So if home ownership is important to you, and I personally think it should be as it's so vital to building long-term wealth, there are steps that you can take today to start setting yourself up for that future. Whether it's just saving a little bit each month towards the down payment, or developing a financial plan that is clear and actionable, or building up your reserves in case you have unexpected expenses or lack of income when you do buy, or maybe it's as simple as improving your credit rating so that you can get the best interest rates and the lowest payment available. My message to you is just don't give up. Let's look for solutions. And when you do think the time is right, don't feel pressure. Don't let FOMO convince you to buy when the time is not right for you. I'm not trying to get you to do anything. I just want to give you information. There are many people out there who I don't think should buy or sell right now because the timing just isn't right for them. And it would be a terrible time to buy for them based on their situation. Please do not let FOMO or some misguided relative guide you to make a poor financial decision. Do you know that I've done it personally back in 2004? Over-leveraged, could barely afford the monthly payment. The good news is I really learned from it. And as a result, I can help guide you to avoid the same mistakes. If you are in a solid financial position, you have income stability and the means, don't let these headlines scare you and stop you from buying in a market like this. Now could be the absolute best time for you to make your move. If you'd like to explore your situation a little bit more with me, someone who has bought and sold 10 homes personally and lived through a variety of good and bad markets and learned from them, I have a calendar link below where you can book a time just to talk. Tell me about your goals, your dreams, I love to hear them, and your current situation as a home buyer or a home seller. It's a no pressure consultation from an accountant and banker turned realtor, absolutely free of charge. I will give you honest feedback and I will listen to you and I will give you factual information so that you can make a decision for yourself with confidence and clarity and decide if now is the right time for you. I'm Kimberly Crouch with eXp Realty, and I help buyers and sellers across the greater Wilmington area with a strong focus on coastal New Hanover County and the Wrightsville Beach and Wilmington lanes. And as always, I'm offering you an authentic coastal luxury experience at every price point.